fun. I miss you guys.
You big hugs? Bye bye, Dada.
Miss you, Jill. Love you guys. Put it down for me.
Alright, you guys want to wave to Dad while he dries off?
My first real introduction into getting into serious wildlife in the outdoors was 7th grade year. Some of the teachers set up a program called Northern Expo, and they would take a huge group of kids up to the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota for a week-long canoeing and camping trip. I was already big into fishing at the time, and I knew there'd be a ton of fishing up there, so I was all in. So I went my 7th grade year, had an incredible time, learned quite a bit, and really just opened my eyes to other places to go and see. And I ended up going with that group in Northern Expo for 3 more years, and it really inspired me to get into camping, canoeing, of course, hiking, anything like that. Was really my first taste into real wildlife.
Definitely excited about this trip. You know, have some excitement, obviously a little bit of anxiety, animosity as far as just not knowing exactly what to expect, but all in all, 99.9% of my feeling is excitement at this point. So I'm definitely excited to be back in the Boundary Waters soon. The first solo trip I ever took was in September of 2019
left onto State Highway
in the Boundary Waters, and from there I've done multiple trips on my own. It really just opened the door to allow me to see what I'm capable of, that I can go by myself and do these adventures, create these adventures, and you know, pull it off. So really, this last solo trip I did in the Boundary Waters is what set the tone for and the trajectory of everything I've done ever since. So I'm really excited that I can come back to the Boundary Waters for the solo series and you know, show everybody what inspired me to fall in love with not only the Boundary Waters, but you know, just being out solo traveling. The plan for the trip is, as it goes at this moment, is I'm going to get dropped off by an outfitter way up northern stretch of the Boundary Waters, and I'll be traveling this river upstream, as I'd mentioned, into this very secluded lake. And I've been in the general area before, but I'm really excited because I'm going to be in what's called a primitive management area. So this is an area within the Boundary Waters that is no longer maintained by the National Forest Service. So it's going to be bushwhacking. Trails are going to be very faint and limited. So it'll definitely be roughing it. There are some faint trails, you know, where people still go in and out of these. It's just very rare. A lot of the travels through the primitive management areas, you're basically bushwhacking. You might be able to find a faint trail. Sometimes there's no trail. But what's cool about it, outside of the obvious solitude, because you'll get a permit and you're the only one in that area for the whole time your permit is good for. So you will have complete solitude. No one else will be camping near you. And what's amazing about it is these lakes rarely get fished quite honestly, in the wildlife out there, you know, it's just all natural. Like, they rarely see people. The Boundary Waters already has a lot of solitude to it, depending on how far out you get. But these private primitive management areas take that to a whole nother level. So definitely excited about that. Not a lot of people go to these areas, obviously, just because of the challenge, but a lot of people just don't know about this option. You got to get a special permit, but they're free. And you know, if you're ever looking for just another level of solitude and challenge, the private management areas of the Boundary Waters are an awesome option. Just the general layout of where I'm going to be is going to be boreal forests, lots of water, rivers, lakes, a lot of, you know, pine trees, birch trees, a lot of moss and lichen, and a lot of rocks. So tons of this Canadian shield type landscape, which is just rock, moss, lichen, and coniferous trees. So one of my favorite landscapes for sure, and just tons of water everywhere. It's just a really unique landscape. So definitely offers a good opportunity to see a lot of animals as well. It's going to be moose, bear, wolf, martens, beavers, otters, tons of just incredible creatures that could stumble upon. So I'm excited and hopeful to get a look at some of those as well. The first time I came here, I had an incredible experience of being able to paddle next to a bull moose. It was swimming, I was paddling. I gave it some space, obviously. I didn't want to scare it or make it, you know, go off its trajectory. But it was an incredible experience, and one I'll never forget. So. Just drove 800 miles. Slept halfway in the back of my truck. There's my bed. And I'm almost there. So welcome to Ely, Minnesota, heart of canoe country. Finally.
Is going to be in the middle of a tropical rainforest in the outskirts of town. Yeah, pretty excited about that. It's the monsoon season, so I'm not sure how the weather is going to be. According to the weather forecast, it is cloudy with a slight chance of rain, so it may or may not rain. Regardless, I'm prepared for the worst weather conditions, and hopefully everything will be alright. And yeah, the campsite is gonna be in rainforest, and there's gonna be a river, and I'll be setting up camp at the riverside. So let's see how it goes. And I think today I'll be doing tent camping. I've got a ground tent, but you know, in case the weather turns bad, in case it rains heavily, I guess I have a backup plan, which is to use my rooftop tent instead. I've got a rooftop tent above this car, and that will provide a much more sturdy shelter, and that way I get to camp slightly further away from the riverbank, which is definitely much safer in rainy conditions. Speaking about weather conditions, in Malaysia, the weather, there are only two kinds of weather essentially. Super duper hot, sunny and humid, or super rainy. Only those two weathers. So my camping gears are usually made or prepared or arranged to weather those conditions, and it doesn't matter if it rains or if it's like super sunny today. I think I'll be prepared and we'll have a good time. Because there's never bad weather, only bad attitude. Looks like I took the wrong turn. Heading back out to the main road. Your destination is on the right. I'm here at the campsite. Just parking my car over here, and always park the car in the direction of exit so that if there's any emergency I can just drive off. It's crazy, lots of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are attacking me.
I faced a pretty difficult challenge last year. I spent about 8 months awaiting results of potentially having sarcoma
which is a form of cancer in the veins and blood cells. During that time, I really felt confused, but more so I felt that it was my responsibility to live my life to the fullest. Instead of being upset or depressed about the potential that I might be sick, I decided to take a positive approach and start to take more action in something that I really love, which was exploring the outdoors. And I really committed to that. I made a goal for myself that no matter what, I was going to go out into nature, into the woods, and do whatever, even if it's just going for the day, doing a hike. I needed to be more involved because ultimately I didn't know if tomorrow was going to be promised. First thing I do when deciding where I'm going to go for my trip is pull up Google Earth. I check a general area and then I check the surrounding features. Usually the thing I'm looking for is how scenic is a place and what access do I have to resources. So water, firewood, those are probably the two most important ones. I also really enjoy going to places that I've never been before, and Ontario is so vast that if I was camping every single day for a whole year, I probably still wouldn't be able to see the entire province. About halfway to my destination, and it's already raining. It's gonna get much worse than this, I think. This is light rain. I don't mind it though. Being under a tarp in the rain, really peaceful feeling.
Okay, let me get the babies in.
Well, guys, hope to see you out there. Off on another adventure. I always feel a little bit apprehensive when I go away on these trips. Leaving the girlfriend and the dogs at home alone. Just got a new puppy as well. But I also have a feeling of excitement. I'm going to a brand new place today out in Bushcraft. It's a brand new place. Only ever seen photos of it. but the views look amazing. From what I've heard, there's going to be a cliff that I can hike down into. I can hopefully find some water, and a nice 360-degree view from the top, looking down on Hartbeespoort Dam. I think it's going to be pretty epic. And my plan of action for this morning is I'm meeting up with the owner of the property, the private property, and he's going to show me around, and then he's going to leave me to my own devices. I'm going to get there, have a look around, go for a bit of a hike, find an ideal spot for a campsite, and start setting up for the night. I have been warned that there are baboons in the area, and we all know baboons like to steal food. You're going to have to be a little bit on my guard this time. Time to enjoy amazing scenery heading out to Hartbeespoort. Super hot today.
All ready to leave finally. I'm a couple of hours later than I planned to be, so it is midday, and but that's just the way it is. I work full time, and I worked quite late last night, so there wasn't the time to get myself packed and ready, and that's usually the case. But I'm still feeling a bit wired from work, but I know once I hit the road and then get to where I'm going, I'll just start winding down. Like I said before, I did leave later than I planned to, so I'm just driving along. I'm driving through the Hauraki Plains, and I got to head up and over the mountains on my right hand side, heading over to Tairua, which is on the coast. I'm heading to the Coromandel Peninsula, and Tairua is on the eastern coast. And so that is where the Pacific Ocean is, and I'm going to a place called Sailor's Grave, which is a really neat beach. It's named after a sailor that drowned there way back historically, and so that's where I'll be leaving my vehicle, and then hiking for a couple of hours north of there along a bit of a track. I'm going to a place where I've never been before, and so I've just been told what it's like. There's a track, there's no camping area. It's going to be stealth camping, wild camping. So I just stopped for my lunch, and now I'm going to carry on down to Sailor's Grave. I'm really not that far from arriving. I'm only about maybe 30 minutes, and I've come from where I live, which is an area of dairy farmland mainly, and now I'm on the Coromandel Peninsula, up actually on top of the mountain range presently. So the scenery here is very, very different from where I'm living presently, and it will be where I'm going to be camping tonight as well, which I anticipate being, I'll be walking along the coast and through the bush up over a headland and into the next bay along from Sailor's Grave, and then a little bit further as well. And I'm going to be camping probably under Nikau palms, or in a Nikau grove. I've never been there before. I know Sailor's Grave, I know that area very well, but where I'm specifically going to be camping tonight, I've never been there before, so I'm not really sure what it's going to be like, aside from it's on the coast.
Malta is a very small island, about 27 kilometers across, so driving to destination is not that far away. Although today we are going on the other side of the island, which is Salmon area it's called. It's very important when you plan this type of adventures that you always have plan A and plan B, and today we are going for plan B, because due to wind and weather, where I was going, it was going to be too exposed and it will be a hassle. So that's why you make plan B, so you make things easier for you. The place we are going is very nice, has a lot of history in it, as everywhere in Malta. We'll be trekking on top of the cliffs with the beautiful view of the Mediterranean Sea. We also, in front of us, will have St. Paul's Island, which there is a legend backed up by the Bible, so it's an important historical event, which I will show you and go in that more soon. Going there, it takes me about 40 minutes with the car, although at this time we might find some traffic. As with every solo backpacking trip, I am a little bit nervous and excited at the same time, but normally this excitement, sometimes even a little bit of being afraid, once I read the location and put the backpack on my back and start viewing where we are going, everything boom goes away, and suddenly I am relaxed and enjoying the trip. Today I have a little bit more weight than I usually carry because I'm cooking something very good, real food, because here in Malta dehydrated meals or packaged meals are very limited. You can only find from Decathlon in Malta or maybe another brand. I'm going to cook beef olives, although there is no olives, but that's how they're called. In Maltese they are bracioli. It's one of our traditional dishes. And to carry more weight, but eating good, because for me camping is enjoying and eating good food. Yeah, and when you look at me, you know that I like good food. So some people even ask me, why you take all the hassle? You have to put heavy equipment on your back, walk in the sun, sleep outside, cook outside, when you can stay at home, maybe with your AC on, and relax on the sofa. I think the biggest aim is mental health, because nowadays we are very in a rush, we are very busy, we have lots to do, a lot of pressure at work. And when I go backpacking, especially alone, because alone it makes you appreciate more. Not when I go with my friends I enjoy, but I will be talking to my friends. When I'm alone, I am more concentrated on the views, on nature, and how beautiful things are. Like this, I can relax my mind and enjoy the nature. Like this as well, it will help me with my mental health. So I will relax my senses. I try to use my mobile the least that I can, and like this, it's like a small break for my mind after work, family problems, and all the life nowadays gives you. What to take care at the location where we are going, because in Malta we don't have dangerous wildlife, extreme weather, it's very rare, but mostly here in Malta one have to take care is when walking on edge of cliffs, because they are from limestone and they are very fragile, and if you are at the edge they can break off and they can kill you. And the other one is the heat, the sun. So when going backpacking, especially in going into summer, and especially in summer, take care to take plenty of water. You take a hat and sunglasses, because the sun here is very strong, because we are on the equator. And another thing is you put some solar protection on, so like this you are protected. Then what remains is you just enjoy the trip.
destination now. I packed all my stuff and I'm heading now to a really, really beautiful place in the Black Forest. It's called Höchenschwand and I'm gonna hike the Felsenweg. It's around 20 kilometers. I probably won't hike all of it, let's see, but that's where I'm gonna go now. And yeah, I'm really excited, even though it's raining, as you can see. So it's raining all day and it's raining a lot, and the weather forecast is also really bad. Tomorrow it might even snow, but I still look forward a lot to that. It's always a good opportunity to test my equipment and to check whether the things are still waterproof or need some care from myself, or maybe need even to replace or whatever. So, and it's also nice hiking when it's really wet and moist and green. So I'm looking forward to that. So the tour I'm gonna hike, the region I was hiking in, I already did hike there one time, and it was really, really, really beautiful. It's a really beautiful spot with a lot of different sceneries from the Black Forest. So I thought this is gonna be a beautiful destination for now. And there are always so many different hiking paths, so you never really see the same spot again. If you do, then it's still beautiful. Yeah, because it's nature. Nature is always beautiful. And it's also, I'm also gonna hike through Bannwald. I don't really know what it's called in English. It's a forest section where men don't interfere anymore. So there's no people who take care of the trees, of the wildlife, of the game. So if trees are falling down, then they lay there, they stay there. It's a little bit more dangerous because people don't take care of the forest or of the safety. But if you take care of yourself, it's still safe. I really love these forests so much because it's more purity, it's more nature, it feels a little bit more freedom, as if nature is being left alone and is being left to just thrive for itself and solve all its problems for itself. I mean, nature is capable of taking care of itself, and the forest is capable of taking care of itself. So the trees are old, then they fall down, and then they will be nature, then they will be food for other trees. We'll see what's coming, and each time is gonna be different. Each time is gonna be new and a small adventure. So let's see what we will experience this time.
I'm just leaving a little area where I stayed the night last night. Pulled up about middle of the day yesterday in a little free camp not far from a little town called Mole Creek. I'm just on my way, about 30 minutes to the start of my hike. Ironstone Mountain itself peaks at 1,445 metres above sea level. So there's a possibility of still being a bit of snow up there. On my drive-in yesterday, I did notice a few peaks had a little bit of snow on them. Nothing like too major, but it'd be nice to see a bit of it actually. At the moment, it looks pretty cloudy around the mountains. Very cloudy actually. So the area which I'm hiking today is called the Great Western Tiers. It's in like the north part of Tasmania. I haven't hiked the Great Western Tiers yet. I've hiked the national park just next to it and a few around it, but not this area. This one's not actually a national park itself. It's called the Great Western Tiers Conservation Area. Okay, so I think I'll just talk you through the little route I'm going to take here. So I'm starting from this point, so I've just parked up. I'm going to hike down this track here and do the summit of Ironstone Mountain. And then I'm going to come back down the mountain and come to this track. Come down here, there's a lake just here called Ironstone Lake, which this here isn't a track. So I'm going to try and navigate around this lake, down over through the bush here to Lake Nameless, and then there's another track which is Higgs track, the bottom side of Higgs track, where down here there is a hut called Ironstone Hut, which I'm hoping to pitch up for the night, and then tomorrow morning I'll make my way all the way back up here. There's another hut up here called Lake Lady Hut, or Lady's Hut, and then I'll circle back round to the end of the track.
2 hours now out of the 6.5 hour drive that it's going to be. It's going quite well. The weather's holding back, which is nice. And when I get there, I'm probably just going to get for the night in the truck and then get up on the little journey, which will be good. So I will catch up with you when I'm somewhere a bit more scenic than the motorway. And when I stop to stretch the legs, I'll show you a bit of what my views are. It's quite a long way up to Scotland, like I've said before. It's about 6 hours for me, but it's the only place in the United Kingdom where you're legally allowed to wild camp. So for this trip I was a little bit kind of stuck. I had to do that really. I don't really have permission of any woodlands or nice places to go and camp that I can showcase just how beautiful our country can be. So that's why I'm on my way up to Scotland. But it's been a nice little stretch of the legs now, and I'm going to get back in the truck and carry on the journey up. I've got about another 4 hours left to go. So offwards and onwards. Weather's held out as well, which is really handy. Super excited. Really in the heart of Scotland now, in the lowlands. Single carriageways, a lot of old Gaelic names for towns, like the Who of and Dalbeatty, Corsock and Strainer. So really old names, nice bit of history in this area. So I am basically here, guys, and it's getting very dark. So I'm going to find a space to pull over, and then tomorrow I can start my journey. So I'm going down a forest road now, guys, just kind of exploring, so we'll see where we end up. So it's a bit rainy here in the Galloway National Park. I've just put the awning up. You can probably just see it above me there. I'm by the truck right now, and it's yeah, it's really wet. So it's absolutely hammering it down now, guys. So yeah, the awning's all up now off of the truck, and this is just giving me an area to kind of get all my stuff prepped and get a bit of food sorted. It's a very wet introduction to the trip, but nevertheless it's been a really long drive, so it's going to be really nice to just get my feet up, get into the bag and relax. So I'm just cooking up a steak on the back of the truck here. I've just got a camping stove with a frying pan. I've put a bit of oil in there, and we're just going to go ahead, get that cooked, and then I'm going to head to bed. It's still extremely wet out of there, but as you can see, just in the car park, a little bit hard to see out there, but the awning is doing a brilliant job of keeping me nice and dry. So we'll see you in a little bit. Really looking forward to this after a long drive. You can hear the rain starting to come back in, so I'll see you when this is cooked. So I've just finished cooking the steak. I put it in a wrap all nicely cut up, and I'm just going to chow down on this and then get into bed. I'm just going to sleep in the back of the truck tonight, and yeah, it's absolutely soaking. So I'm just about to go to bed, like I said, and just wanted to apologise for not filming loads of this evening. It's been so wet, and it's just been a little bit cramped around the back of the truck, trying to get everything sorted, get some food into me, get all of this stuff sorted, get my sleeping bag out of my dry sack. It was right at the bottom of my bag, of course, and I wanted to lay down after the long drive. So we've got all comfy now. I'm going to get to bed, and I will catch up with you guys in the morning when I start my journey. So I'll see you then.
Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.
I have left the main roads now and will continue on this gravel road until its end. I have about 1 hour drive left before I can start my hike. The forecast is mostly sunny weather. Sounds promising. Now I'm ready for some adventure in the wilderness. Are you? Come on, let's go. Cubes.
What an incredible view, guys. It's absolutely stunning.